Welcome to EB's Real Talk, where we're not afraid to go down the rabbit hole. Today, I have a special guest with me, and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself. We had some interesting conversations, so we're going to, let's get started. Good afternoon, sir.
How you doing?
You all right?
I'm hanging on. I'm counting my blessings. Good.
So listen, what I'm going to do with this interview, because you have so much that I want to, our listeners to see and know about you, is I'm going to break it up into little parts here. So we're going to kind of keep it in 15-minute increments, and then we can go back to some things, because you have a lot of things about you, and I really want the listeners to know a lot about you.
Wow, okay.
All right, so the first part we're going to talk about is something we talked about a couple of days ago, is we had a conversation about, first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself, and maybe not your ideals yet, because we're going to get into those. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do right now.
Okay, well, my name is K. Kelly McElroy. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Okay.
Came up, trained in the HVAC field and whatnot. Wound up going to law school, practiced law for a while. Life takes various turns, but I wound up, I always loved books and literary. So
Okay.
a couple years I started a publishing company, and right now we're almost about 50 books published.
Okay. The name of that company is?
It's UPtown Media Joint Ventures Publishing. Also we have promotions arm, and also we have a record label called UPtown Records.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the publishing company. I went on and saw that you did a lot of various books, and I was kind of fascinated by how various and how much movement was in the covers. When I say that, I mean you have one simple cover where you have a person sitting in the chair, and you might have another one with a lot of abstract equations on it and things like. Tell me, how do you decide whether that's a good cover to use? Because I know you don't always come up with it. How do you know whether that's good, or whether you say, hey, that's not a good cover to use?
Well, that's interesting that you caught that, because as a backdrop, I would say the stereotypical urban cover, maybe right. An urban novel,
Yeah.
where a trap novel, trap
right.
queen novel.
Yeah.
It has these bright, vivid letters and neon letters
right.
and whatnot. And that's one thing I personally strove whenever the design of the cover was granted to me. Of course, it's the author's book.
Correct. Correct.
If they want the little trap covers, that's on them. But thank God most of them don't want it. Who have published through UPtown, because I'm sure, even though it takes ability to make these covers and all that stuff, but you see every single so-called urban book with that same cover.
Yeah.
And also the covers are different because I've been blessed to be associated with some serious writers.
Okay. Good.
Like
Good.
one writer who's published a jazz book with UPtown is Robert Fleming out of New York.
Yeah, I saw that.
A major writer. He has writing contracts with some big publishing houses, but he chose to do that book with UPtown.
Which is nice to be able to transition from that self-publishing. Some people look at self-publishing, that's a cheap version. But if you ever wrote a book and self-published, that's a lot of work. It's still just as much work, so you can go to a bigger level. So that's actually pretty good for him and you.
Well, a lot of times, though, people don't understand they had a stereotypical outlook from 40 years ago. Oh, the author, sells 1 million books through his big publishing house. No, a lot of times, the publishing business is just like the record business, the old record business.
Okay.
Where the record company might give you a little, stipend, or what you want to call it, upfront money, but then you on the hook for them for all expenses, and you may not see a never dime. And the way the accounting goes, for every dollar that comes in, let's say they're entitled to 80%, and you're only entitled to 20%, and that's high in publishing.
That's high. It is in publishing.
In publishing, only major authors might get 15% or 20%.
Okay.
But the regular author might get 10% or something like that. So for every dollar that comes in, the company gets 90 cents on a dollar.
But now that so in fairness to some of them, not all of them, that's because they're taking a bigger risk. Am I correct in assuming that?
Oh yeah, that's correct. But at the same time, if
so say for instance, when I say that, let me include some things in that. The advertising, the marketing, maybe setting up some interviews and things like that. I know all of them are not doing that, but they're, for the most part, there's like Random House. It was a Random House, right? Random House and stuff like that. They set up these.
It used to be the Big Five, now it's like the Big Four.
Yeah. Am I correct in assuming that, or is there some other discrepancies in that?
Well, yeah, it's just like I said, it's just like the record company.
Okay.
Let's say the artist is groomed.
Okay. Groomed.
And they had the A&R people work with the artists. They had the studio there. They hire out the studio engineers and whatnot, graphic artists with album covers and all that. So yeah, sure, it's a risk, and that's why it's like that. But nowadays, you see a lot of people who are very successful musicians that are actually distributing their own.
That's correct.
Albums and whatnot. And so that's what UPtown is helping people do. And I tell people we have an affiliation with a regional distributor, and they can sign up with them. I'll connect them with them
if they want to.
But UPtown doesn't is not in the distribution business. We'll get you published though.
Right. So the money that you made, and the fairness to your company is that we help your dreams come true, but at the same time we're not trying to get rich off of this, right? You make your money in probably volumes and refer business.
Well, most of the books that UPtown publishes are self-publishing books. Okay. So in other words, the author pays us a fee to get them published, and the author has their own distribution network. They might be part of an organization, and they get their books distributed. They might be in an organization that has 10,000 members,
right?
And they have a subject that they're interested in, so they cater to that.
Okay.
Now, because I'm personally into so many things, we have contracts with libraries to do books. We have contracts with educational institutions, schools, and whatnot to do books. So that's how UPtown really makes its money.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's the self-publishing business is ridiculous. They link you in with false advertising.
Yeah.
And they might say, "Oh, you get your big book published for $199 or something like that."
That's right.
And by the time you call them, it goes up to $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because it took me 2 years to find a legitimate publishing company because of the tricks. I'm pretty good at siphoning that stuff out. And you're right. By the time they finish, it's like $2,000. You go, wait a minute, and you don't know that you get into it. But I started playing like I was getting involved just to see where they go. So you're correct. So congratulations for you to do that to people, because there are people that really have a dream to write, and some of the best books haven't been written because of the price. And so we talked about that briefly a little bit yesterday, and we sent some emails back and forth. And so I'm congratulations. Give them before we go any further, give them the website that they can get that information from, and how can they do that?
Well, if you want to get your book published with a reputable publishing house, and actually because of your show, and I really appreciate a lot of things you're doing, we're going to give people that listen to your show a special offer, because normally the bottom rate is like $1,000 with us. But you twisted my arm. I believe in your vision. So UPtown is going to self-publish books for people that patronize your show for $250.
It's $250, and you hear that normally that price is like $1,000, and believe me, that is not even close to what other companies charge. So that's $250, and what do they have to bring to you in order for that to work for you?
Well, because it's so rock bottom cheap, and anybody that knows anything about the self-publishing business knows. I know people that spend $5,000-$6,000 to get their book published and barely have any sales. So but if you spend $250 to get your book published on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all the major retail outlets, if you spend $250, you don't have no problem. You don't have no problem making that back if you have any kind of family, friends, or whatever.
That's right. So the return on investment is good.
What they're going to have to do as an author, because to get that kind of deal, is they have to make sure their manuscript is edited.
Correct.
They have to email their manuscript to us once we have agreement in place, in Word.
Yes, okay? In Word, that's correct. Yeah.
And then also, they have to have their own cover art.
Correct.
That they want for the book, and they have to have a synopsis, which is the writing on the back of the book.
Correct.
UPtown will provide them with the ISBN. Will make the book in any way, shape, or form that they like, whatever size.
Yes. Okay.
Paperback, hardback, whatever it takes is not a problem. So.
And again, that's 100% of their royalties. Right.
UPtown doesn't take any money. At all.
And in business, we call that work made for hire, where you just, okay, I pay you, do me, you don't own nothing on me. And sometimes we get that little twisted in the music business, because I've had my experience in that. And sometimes we get that little twist and say, no, you were work made for hire. So you couldn't come back and say, hey, well, you made $1 million off that book. So you completely put yourself out of it, leaving all of the onus on the operator, basically.
Right. Whoever self-publishes their book with UPtown, they 100% control of the book. And we, in fact, give them a dashboard, Amazon dashboard, where they can control their book. They could see how many sales they get. They could do little marketing things. It's totally up to that adventurous author. And I tell you, it's nothing better than controlling your own book. Because I've written 3 books myself that I published through UPtown, obviously.
Right. You know, right. Wouldn't make any sense.
Right. But I tell you, and you'd be surprised where you could sell books at. And don't overlook the international market.
Correct. That's where some of my books got sold in India. I didn't place them there. Thank God I had somebody that worked with me. One of the original, this company got actually sold out, but one of the original people made sure I was in India, made sure I was in the UK, and in fact, I didn't know somebody called me. And so that's very important that you brought that up, because a lot of us in this country that patronize, if we don't see that an author, unfortunately, if we don't see that an author is actually nationally known, sometimes we won't buy their books.
Well, I tell you, the people that have some kind of marketing mechanism, you'll make way more money than you ever do signing with a major label, because most of the books that they give people little advances for, they don't sell that kind.
Okay.
So that advance you get, if they even still give it $5,000, I don't think they're doing that no more. I think it's down to like $2,000 or $3,000 for a book they might accept from an unknown author. You'll never see another dime the rest of the whole life of the contract, because you got to remember, they're getting 90 cents on every dollar that comes in. So if that $2,000 comes back in, you're only going to get $200 deducted.
Wow.
From that $2,000. So you still got $1,800 in the hole.
And that's a lot. That's a lot of money. So give again the website for that. Give it the website.
The website is uptownmediaventures.com. Uptownmediaventures.com.
Your email. The email is.
It is uptownliterary@gmail.com. We have other emails, but all the emails traffic to that. Yeah. So that's why we use that. So uptownliterary@gmail.com. If you're on a website, check out some of the books. There's only like 30 of our books on there. I have to update the website.
Nice though. It's a nice thing. It's almost like when I went to the website, I was kind of impressed, because I'm a website. I review websites for people. That's what I used to do. And I look at it and go, okay, it's a simple website, but it does have more information just in a spread. You don't really have to go to the next pages. Right. Because everything is actually said on the front pages.
Right.
So that's good.
Eventually we're going to have like media on there, more media on there, videos and whatnot, short videos and whatnot. But it's one thing, I personally, you go to certain sites and they may be busy. Flash and dash.
And it takes a long time to come up and you get frustrated.
Right. It's like a psychedelic world, and I'm getting lost in the stuff.
I don't want to hear something.
So I purposely wanted to have some kind of style, which I feel it does, but be easy for the person to follow it.
Yeah, good. So thank you for that, because again, I mean, one of the things that I keep saying over and over again, if we give everybody the tools to dream, we can make this world different.
Exactly.
We got too many restrictions, whether it be taxes or bank loans and even in our own community, and we'll talk a little bit about today. So I'd like to thank again. So go to uptownmediaventures.com and patronize my brother. At least if you're not ready yet, go look, and after you look, if you got a question for him, just send an email. Okay.
Right, and I only have 4 people on my team.
Okay. So it's not heavy loaded with a bunch of people that you got to talk to and stuff like that.
You either gonna get myself or one of maybe two other people, because the other person is more of a promotions person for us. So I do the work. You know,
so there's a lot of groundwork, but it's fun because when it get done, you know it's done the way you want it to.
I love it. I love working with people and seeing their dreams come together in their book. And you know, I have so many people that thank you for so much, and it's a very professional product. Yeah. And the only thing I must admonish people is that nowadays the book business is truly like the new record business, in my opinion, because you have to have some marketing savvy, and you want to have 100% ownership of your book and get all the money. You know what I'm saying?
Because it gives some creativity, some movement. I remember the one thing that I hated about the music business is once you get the song out, if you don't know anybody, it's done. Especially before the internet got out. So when you have a book out, all of those marketing ideas have to be done before the book comes out. Because otherwise you're stuck with 150 copies and you're peddling books like, you know, something else. And it feels good that you got. So congratulations again to you for doing that, and I'm sure the self-authors out there really appreciate you. Hey there, brothers and sisters. This is E.B. Smith. Real Talk is me helping you by giving you information I know you will be inspired to be a greater you. And with a greater you, our communities are better and our world is better. But I want to reach more people. To do that, I need your help. Will you subscribe and share my videos? Tell everyone what we're talking about here on Real Talk. Another way to partner with me, donate $1. That's donating just $1. Go to PayPal and send ebsrealtalk@gmail.com. Go to PayPal, donate $1, send ebsrealtalk@gmail.com. Since we don't like the world we live in, let's change it together. Thank you. Writing a book can be daunting, but once you get past the daunting, there's always the cost of getting it published. And many times that usually holds people up from doing it. UPtown Publishing is offering supporters of EB's Real Talk a wonderful opportunity to have their books published for only $250. That's 75% of the regular standard publishing package price. You supply the book cover art, a synopsis of your book, and your pre-edited manuscript, and here's what you'll get: 100% control of your book, 100% profits from your book, and your own dashboard. That's $250, which is 75% of a regular standard price. 100% of control of your book, 100% of profits. If you're interested in it, go to UPtownMediaVentures.com. Go to UPtownMediaVentures.com and go to the Contact Us page and put in EB's Real Talk. Or mention EB's Real Talk via email at uptownliterary@gmail.com. That's uptownliterary@gmail.com. Congratulations to all of you to your future as an author.